Hi, how you doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. This is just going to be a quick video, and I want to introduce the new knives I have, and these are my old favorites. And I just want to go through my box. What's in my box for the beginning of this year anyway. First off, 4-Max. I've carried this one a few times. I find it's a little bit heavy for me to really like to carry it, but I love the knife though. I just love the way it's made. The Cold Steel 4-Max. It's a beautifully made knife. And this one is the Italian version. I also have a US version, but that one had a few issues and I had to send it back to Cold Steel. But I really love this Italian one. I'd recommend the Italian one to anyone that wants to get a new 4-Max. And the Italian one's about $100 cheaper than the US version ones too. At least this one was. Next up out of the new ones, this is my favorite new knife. Of all the new Cold Steels, this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love the AD-10. Update, Andrew Demko himself responded to my my question about the blade tang sticking out, and he sent me a picture of the AD-10 Plus P or something like that, and it's showing that blade tang sticks out on that one too. He said that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way he's manufactured. That's the way he started making them, and then he likes to make them like that now. So that isn't a flaw. That's the way it's supposed to be. So if you have one like this, you have one made the way it's supposed to be. If it's not like this, then you have a flaw. Andrew Demko himself contacted me and let me know about that. This one I already polished up. I took it apart and I polished up the liners. And I polished up the washers. This knife is so smooth. It is super smooth. It's probably one of the smoothest ones I have in my whole box right here. Is this new Andrew Demko AD-10. Cold Steel Andrew Demko AD-10. I really highly recommend this. If you want the most awesome 3.5-inch folder that there is on the planet right now, it's the AD-10. Get the Cold Steel AD-10. Next one up is a new one in my lineup. I just received it yesterday. This is the AD-15 with the scorpion lock. I'm still getting used to this. I'm not an expert with the scorpion lock yet. It's a lot different than what I'm used to. I'm used to the triads. I've been carrying the triads ever since there's been triads. And y'all know that because I've been doing videos on them ever since there's been triads. But this was a little bit different. I like it, but it hasn't really caught on with me yet. But I do like it. I know I'll probably get another scorpion just for my collection. I have one in my box I can carry every day if I want to carry it. But it is different. It's a lot different than if you're like me and you're used to the way the triad works, the triad lockback works. This is different. To me, this is more like a Italian pick lock. I don't know if you're familiar with the old switchblades. They were made in Italy, but they were made so that you had to pick up the front end of it to unlock the blade, and they call them pick locks. Do some research on a pick lock and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it sort of works the same way as a pick lock, only instead of having a pin that's on the blade tang that goes into the lock bar, this one has a pin that goes through the lock bar and goes into a groove on the blade tang. But it basically works the same way. But this knife feels super sturdy, locks up super tight. I wouldn't be afraid of this coming apart. I mean, or coming unlocked on me or whatever, because like Andrew says, when you hold on to the blade handle, it gives extra security to the lock bar and keeps it from coming disengaged. I think it's an excellent design. Just have to get used to it still, but I like it. I like seeing new things, especially from Andrew Demko. Andrew Demko is my favorite knife maker. This is one of my favorites. I absolutely love. I've carried this one a ton of times, and since I've had it, and I've even bought another one. This is the one I've always carried, but I bought one just to collect, and I absolutely love this knife. The SR1 Tanto. If you want a heavy-duty cold steel knife, that's got like a blade thickness that's similar to the Formax, but it's not as heavy and it's easier to EDC, I would get this one. Even though I think the Formax would out-slice and cut this one, because this one has a real thick blade stock and the blade's not as wide as the Formax to be able to thin down into a thin cutting edge. But I love this knife. It's meant to be a survival rescue knife. I think that's what it is. That's what, out of all the folders, I think this is one of the ones that qualifies the best to be a survival rescue knife. The title is no bullshit. This one is a Mike Wallace one. This is the only knife I got from Mike Wallace. And I noticed that the triad locking mechanism is a little bit different than the standard triad lock. If you were to take this apart, you'll see that it has like a pin that sits on the side, and the lock, instead of having a torsion spring, and that's the way it works. I can't explain it. It's kind of hard for me to explain it. You just have to take one apart and get one and take it apart yourself, and you can see it. See what I'm talking about? But it works. It works excellently, and when I first saw these, I had mixed thoughts about them, because I thought it was kind of gimmicky looking. But after carrying it, it carries really nice in your pocket, and the thumb plate works really well too. When you draw it out your pocket, if you want to draw it, extend it, it works really well. The Mortal name is sort of growing on me. I sort of like the Mortal name now. At first, I was thinking it's kind of corny. That's one thing I like about the AD-10s. These things don't have corny names. In the Formax, you can see why this one's called the Formax. It is the Formax. It's the most heavy-duty 4-inch blade folder I think there exists on the planet. That's a production knife. It comes straight from Andrew Demko's custom line. This one right here, the Golden Eye, is another excellent little knife. It's an excellent little EDC, everyday folder, everyday carry folder. But I must admit, I'm a little bit thrown off by the Golden Eye name and the gold on the knife and stuff like that. That's kind of, it's not really my style. I tend to like things that are a little bit more tactical or not gimmicky or whatever. But actually, this knife is really a nice knife. I would say it's an excellent knife, little knife for EDC carry and stuff like that. If the Golden Eye name doesn't bother you and the gold accents don't bother you, I think it's an excellent knife. It's up there. It's not American Lawman. One of my favorite for EDCs, but I think it would be in the same category as American Lawman. It's got thin scales, it's lightweight, 3.5 millimeter blade and blade stock. It's a tough little folder. This one right here, this is one that I put off getting last year because I thought, I don't know, I just couldn't get into the Broken Skull name and Steve Austin. You know, I like Steve Austin, don't get me wrong. I like him in the movies and wrestling and stuff like that. And all that, but I just don't think of him as a knife maker. And to me, the only person that should have a name on a knife is the person that designed it. Like the Andrew Demkos, you know, like the AD-10s and AD-15s. I love seeing that name on there. It brands his work. But this is not Steve Austin's work. This is really just a lightweight Lone Star. I don't know if y'all remember the Lone Stars, but basically that's what this is: a Lone Star with a G10, with a slim G10 scale handle and a CTSX HP blade that's DLC coated. To me, it's really just a Lone Star. But it's cool though. And the one thing that's cool about this one, it only weighs 3 ounces, like 3.1 ounces or whatever. So it's super lightweight, and you get a blade that's a little bit longer than 4 inches. So you got, you know, actually a really nice length of a blade and stuff like that for a knife, especially a knife that only weighs 3 ounces. And it carries well. I like to carry this one to work all the time. I'm finding that, you know, it's a good work knife for me. Where, you know, I used to always just carry my American Lawman all the time, but sometimes I like to carry this one now. But I wish they didn't name it the Broken Skull and have Steve Austin's name on it. You know, I don't know, man, it's just kind of corny to me. But it's an excellent knife, though. And as y'all know these, y'all seen these. It's one of my favorite knives of all time. Is a Tanto. The Tanto from the Recon 1 Tanto from Cold Steel. It's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. This is a great knife, and it's a great knife, and not just because it's a great knife, but it's a great knife because of the way it's made. I like the way it's made. This version right here has CTSX HP. I also have one of the new, a few of the new S35VN ones too. But I like the black DLC ones because sometimes I don't want to carry things where people notice it. Because, you know, sheep will get scared and, you know, when they see things in your pocket and stuff like that. So these are my old school knives I like to carry. And, you know, as you notice, a lot of them are black because I like to keep things undercover. This is an Oz 8. This is one of the first ones I got. And I totally took off the Tough X polish, Tough X finish, and polished it all the way out until it's like chrome. But I love these. These are excellent knives. And you know, don't knock the Oz 8s. The Oz 8s are easy to sharpen. It's easy to get Oz 8 razor sharp. You don't have to put that much effort into it. You don't have to have no special stones or anything. You can do it with some basic inexpensive stones. And it works great. And right here is another one of my favorites. The Tower. CTSX HP Tower. I like these because they're lightweight. The handle fits my hand perfectly in all grips. I really love the Tower for its handle. I love the Tower handle, and the blade is awesome. It's intimidating. It's awesome, and it can be used. It's a real practical blade too because it's got a nice flat ground blade that's good for slicing and dicing and cutting things. It's a real good blade. It's not like a heavy duty blade, but this is a blade that's all about business. It's lightweight, so you can maneuver it super fast. Super fast. That's what you gotta realize about the lighter the knives are, they give you good reach and good extension. the faster you can manipulate them, the faster you can use them for whatever you want to use them for. The heavier blades slow you down. So, you know, it's always important, I feel, for a blade, you know, especially if you're going to be using it for like a self-defense weapon, you know, other than just a regular pocket knife, you know, it might have to play a role as a self-defense weapon. I'd rather have a knife that's lighter in my hand than one that's heavier and slows me down. Because it's always been my experience, you know, when you get in a conflict, is to be fast as possible. The heavier duty ones are sweet and stuff like that, but they're better suited for like doing like, you know, like wood crafting or something like that to me than they are for fighting. A fighting blade needs to be lightweight. That's my opinion. Good old Holdout. Can't beat a good old Holdout. These are super easy to conceal inside your jacket or your motorcycle vest or your pocket. And they're super flat and you forget that you even have them. You forget that you even have it on you. I love it. And these ones with the thinner scales are cool too. You know, the thinner scales aren't my favorite scales, but I see the purpose that they you know provide. They provide you with a knife that you can really conceal it very easily. And with this American G10 that Cold Steel uses, it's strong. You don't really need steel liners and stuff like that, and so they can keep the knife super lightweight and you know, a great self-defense weapon. Awesome blade. This is my first Talwar that I ever had that was this size. Oz 8 Talwar. Why I have the Oz 8 Talwar out here when I have a bunch of CTS ones is because I just like it. I just like this Talwar. I carry this one probably more than the other ones. And I really like it because it's easy to resharpen. Because if you're going to use a knife, I don't know, it's nice to have a knife that you can resharpen easily. I don't want a knife that's going to be a pain in the ass to resharpen all the time. CTS XHP is a great steel, but it's a little bit, you have to put a little bit of work into it to get it nice and sharp. And you have to use better stones too. This is my first Holdout. That was this first series of Holdouts. I like this one. It's been all polished out. Again, this is Oz 8. And I use this one a whole lot. I use it for everything, from cutting meat to doing whatever. It's a great knife. The American Lawman, the budget AD-10. This is one I think that Andrew Demko, the master of the triad lock, made for Cold Steel, because Cold Steel probably, I bet you Lynn Thompson wanted the AD-10, but this is the one that Andrew Demko hooked him up with. This is the third version of the Lawman from Cold Steel. It has a CTS XHP blade with the thin scales. This is the second version. This has Oz 8 and has thick scales. And these were black. I didn't like the Tough X. I cannot stand that Tough X finish. It just peels off and looks ugly. And you can just take it off and you can make a beautiful blade. You can leave it stonewash looking, or you can polish it out like I did on this one. And this blade right here is probably the easiest to open, easiest to close out of all the Cold Steels up until the new AD-10. The new AD-10 is given the competition. But I still feel like this one might be even a little bit easier than the new AD-10. I don't know, the spring tension on these was perfect. The torsion spring, the lock bar spring, is perfect. It doesn't. You can do this all day long, and your thumb will never get sore. But yet it locks up nice and strong and tight. If you haven't experienced one of these, get an old Cold Steel AD-8 Lawman, and you know, trick it out if it's all beat up or whatever. And you'll see what I'm saying about the spring. The springs are tight. I mean, the springs are perfect. I've always thought this knife right here is the best operating cold steel knife that I've ever owned. And I've owned just about all of them. All the triads, I've owned just about every triad that there is. Not just one of each, but multiples of each. And the reason why you don't see any bigger knives, because they changed the laws where I live, and you can't carry over a 4-inch knife now. But when you hit the freeway, we don't have no limits. So I still carry big knives too, but only when I'm on the freeway on the bike or something like that. But when I'm in the city, I carry 4 inches or smaller, like 4 inch and 3.5 inch are like the two sizes I'll carry. I don't really like anything smaller than 3.5 inches. But see, this one is just like, it's like butter. And I think the reason why I keep this one around so much is because I just like it's easy to open. This one, like lots of my knives, I don't put pocket clips on them because I carry them inside my jacket pockets. I wear motorcycle jackets all the time when I'm riding on my bike, and I put this one like inside my right side pocket. And then I'll have like another knife that I'll clip to, wear on my pants. Lots of times I like to carry 2 knives. That's just how I roll. But this one right here is one of the better knives that I've seen from Cold Steel in a long time. I mean, the fit and finish on it is beautiful. And the function of it is smooth. It's not a lightweight knife though. It weighs just as much as most of the Cold Steel knives I like that come with 5.5 inch blades, or even 6-inch blades. So it's a heavy duty little 3.5 inch blade knife. I would call this a heavy duty 3.5 inch blade knife. But it operates so smoothly. It feels like it has ball bearings, but it's not. It's a bronze phosphorus washer with a Teflon washer. The Teflon washer rides against the blade, and the bronze phosphorus washer rides against the aluminum scales. And on mine, I don't know if you could tell, but I polished out the scales. Polished out the scales, and I polished the bronze phosphorus washers also. So it's like butter now. It's like a. I could do this all day long. It's just like the American Lawman, my old American Lawman. I love it. It's not so heavy where it's hard to manipulate. It's like right at the borderline of what I would call being, like. Because to me, like when you go over like 7 or 8 ounces, I would say 8 ounces would be like my limit. And 8-ounce knife, let me see, that I would like to carry. That's a big one. Would be the Tau War. Tau War is right around 8 ounces, and then the Spada weighs closer to 9 ounces. But the Spada is balanced so nice that I like carrying that one too. For big blades. My favorite big blades are the Spada, the Tau War, the Counterpoint XL, and I like the Voyager, the Tanto Voyager XL, the Holdout. I think it's called a Holdout 1. What other big ones? Oh, the Frenzy. I love the Frenzy. The Frenzy and the Tylite 6. Those are my other two favorites. Frenzy is actually the one I carry the most when I carry a big blade, to tell you the truth. It used to be the Tylite 6. I used to carry that one the most. I carried Tylite 6 for years. But then when the Frenzy came out, it sort of took over the Tylite 6's role. Because you get the Triad lock and you get a knife that only weighs like, I think it's like 5.9 ounces or something like that. And it has a 5.5 inch blade, which has lots of reach. But I really love this one, man. I think this is my favorite. I like this one more than I like this one. Now this one I like the blade shape a little bit better because it looks a little bit more stabby to me. It doesn't have as much belly as the AD-10. The AD-10 to me looks like a knife that'd be good for hunting, for skinning animals and skinning game. But I really like both of them. But if I have to pick one, I'm gonna pick the AD-10. The AD-10 is my favorite, and that's just me being biased towards a Triad lock. I've been using the Triad lock for so many years now. You know, for what, about 10 years or something like that. And I've just, my hand, my memory in my hands and everything like that functions better with the Triad lock. This is something that's totally new to me. But you know what? I'm gonna keep messing with it, and I may come back and tell you something different. I may come back and say I like this one better. I don't know. It's just gonna take me some more practice to feel super comfortable with this one. But I really like this one. And I've heard people complain about the way that the grips feel. I like grippy grips. Like the AD-10, it'd be nice if it had, you know, but I'm not going to say that. I like the AD-10 just the way it is. I think they're just two different knives. And that's the way they're supposed to be. The AD-10 to me is like it's like the little brother of the 4-Max. The 4-Max and AD-10 look like the same knife almost. One's just bigger than the other. This one is something new. It has a lot of similar qualities as the AD-10, the handle shape and stuff like that, but it's different. The AD-15 is awesome. I should just carry this one more and get used to playing with this lock. I can see how people can get really good with this one. I don't know why, but it reminds me of a butterfly knife. I know it's not a butterfly knife, but it looks like a knife that's meant to for a person to learn how to master it and master the way that it opens and closes. I actually really like it. The fit and finish on this one is perfect. It's very, very, very well made. I like the way that the back spacer is made. The lock bar. To tell you the truth, I sort of like this lock bar style better than the one that Andrew makes on his custom line where it's pinned together right here. This right here, it's like you don't have to worry about no pins coming loose or anything like that after a while. It's all one piece of aluminum. I understand, I think they use 6061 heat treated aluminum, which is extremely tough. Aircraft quality aluminum. I've never taken one of these apart. And I'm not going to because I like it the way it is. There's nothing I want to do this to. I like it just the way it is. I like the color of it. I like OD green. It's perfect just the way it is. But anyway, that's the main thing I want to share with you. But put the word out there that Andrew Demko says that these are supposed to be like this. That's not a flaw. That's the way it's supposed to be. If yours isn't like this, then yours is flawed. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way Andrew Demko's making them. If you want a super smooth, heavy duty 3.5 inch folder, here it is right here. This is the best 3.5 inch folder. Heavy duty 3.5 inch folder I think that's on the market right now. I can see why people were paying $1,500, $12, $13, $14, $1,500 for these. They're like rock solid. The blade's solid in every position. No movement or anything like that. Open or close. Same thing for this one. This one open or close, no movement. Now, when you first open this one, it has a little bit of movement. As soon as you put some pressure on the handle, there's no movement at all. And it locks up super strong and tight. Highly recommend these. Whether you like the AD-10 or AD-15, it's personal preference. I highly recommend both of them. I highly recommend the Italian 4-Max. The Italian 4-Max is another perfect knife from Cold Steel. For me, it's just too heavy for me to want to carry every day, though. But as a collector, or if I was a person that was into wood crafting or doing outdoor stuff, this would be an awesome knife. Because it's heavy enough that it feels like you could chop with it. This is a nice heavy-duty survival rescue knife. I would highly recommend this one. I absolutely love this knife. And this one's not so heavy that you don't want to carry it. It's a little bit over 7 ounces, but it's awesome. I don't know how to explain it. It's just for a knife that's a big and thick folder. I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. Opens and closes really nice. Highly recommend it. In a solid open closed position. And this blade's not a hollow ground Tanto blade, American Tanto. It's got a flat grind all the way down the edge from the spine. Nice saber ground blade. It's like a combat blade. This one, if I was a soldier or something like that still in the military, and if I was going into combat, this would be the kind of folder I'd want to have on me. Because you could use this, as a pry bore probably if you had to. Or, it could serve all sorts of different uses. I could see this sucker stabbing through just about anything. Super heavy duty blade. S35VN steel, blade steel. It's awesome. This one right here, still growing on me. The only thing I sort of don't like about it is that the regular grip is not super comfortable. And when you go into a hammer grip, it's very comfortable. Like a combat style grip. And that's probably what, was Mike Wallace had in mind when he designed it. Very nice. Alright, that's about it. That's all I got for you guys for today. I'm expecting a new Espada to come in. I'm going to get one of the AD-10 Espadas whenever that comes in. That's the only other new one I got coming up. But these are my 4.5, 4-inch and 3.5-inch folders I like. These are the new ones I'm trying out for this year. And so far, this one's got my heart. These are my two favorites for so far this year. Then after that, I don't know, I said it would have to be this one. I like the Mortal too. This one, I really like this one, but I know it's one that I won't carry because it's too heavy. I really like the knife. This one I'll carry. The AD-15 I'll carry. Alrighty. Well, peace out. Stiletto out. I hope you enjoyed chatting. I hope you enjoyed chatting. Listen to me chat. But anyway, peace out.